So the Cleveland Cavaliers just played the New York Knicks in a game that was huge for the Cavs in terms of locking down that #1 seed in the East. And this was also just such a big game in terms of the Cavs measuring up to one of the other heavyweights in the East, because even though we know the Cavs are legit, I mean, they're a 60-win team, they have struggled, and it has seemed like the effort hasn't really been there over the last few weeks. But now, it's time to ramp up for the playoffs, and even without Brunson or Mitchell, this was still a test. And the Cavs played hard, and even though they had a slow start, they played a near flawless second half. So much ball movement, everyone was contributing. Jarrett Allen was a force on the defensive end. Evan Mobley made some big plays from time to time. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell had a big bounce back performance. Let's talk about it and hear what Kenny Atkinson had to say as well. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so like I said, as has been the recipe for a lot of games over the last month or so, the Cavs started off slow, there was no rhythm, but then in the second half they got things together, they went on a run, also known as a Cavalanche, and they put the Knicks to bed. They showed us all that Cavs basketball still is there. I think tonight they proved to us that they are capable of anything. I think we should all just forget about the last 3 weeks, because the Cavs went through a brutal stretch of scheduling with no incentive and no motivation to win. I think the Cavs are just fine, they are still the best team in the East, and when Donovan Mitchell and Allen play like this, anything is possible. I thought DeAndre Hunter had a really good game off the bench. The reason why I'm mentioning him so early is because I was just on a random late night walk in Cleveland and I ran into him. I just saw a random tall dude get out of his Mercedes right next to Marble Room and I was like, wait a minute. And then when I got closer, I realized it was DeAndre Hunter. So I thought that was pretty funny. He was with his family though, so I just said good game and kept walking. I hate being annoying to famous people. Obviously, if he was just by himself or something, I would have asked for a quick flick, but nonetheless, it was dope and he was one of the biggest X factors off the bench in this comeback, and it's crazy how much strength he plays with, because there could be a bigger defender on him in terms of mass, but he never lets it affect him and he always finishes around the rim super strong. The Cavs are now 3-0 against the Knicks this season, and they tonight once again reinforced the fact that the only team in the East that can beat them in a 7-game series is the Celtics. I'm not saying the Knicks couldn't win a few games, but they are way too reliant on their starting lineup to do everything. This was a fun game. We saw Jarrett Allen try to be LeBron James on that one dunk, and this is what he had to say about that.
Honestly, I was telling them I wanted to look like Bron trying to bring it back. I looked at the replay, nothing close.
Anyways, moving on to the stats from this game. Once again, nobody played a ton of minutes. I've been loving Kenny Atkinson's rotations. Mitchell played 30 minutes. He had 27 points with 6 rebounds and 5 assists. And defensively, he had 1 steal and 3 blocks, which was more than impressive. Max Strus once again put up a stat line that would not wow you, but he made impactful plays. Evan Mobley had 13 points with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. It was not necessarily his best game, but that is okay because his teammates and his partner in crime Jarrett Allen had his back, scoring 21 points with 8 rebounds. And there was a stat John Michaels was talking about that Allen is now like 32 for his last 35 field goal attempts or something ridiculous like that. And that is exactly what we need to see in the playoffs. Isaac Okoro was huge in this game. Like, actually, if I had to state one takeaway from this game, if I was asked for it, I would talk about how Isaac Okoro played, because he was high energy on both sides of the ball. He was 5 of 10 from the field, he had 2 steals, he was plus 13 in 23 minutes, he was great. And then I already talked about Hunter, who had 16 points and 2 rebounds. Now to get into some game film, let's look at what made the Cavs' performance so flawless in the second half. This right here may have been the highlight of the game in terms of ball movement. There was no hesitation on any of these passes. The ball just zipped around, leading each other to where they needed to be. Donovan Mitchell was so pumped after this one. Literally, if you're a coach of a younger team, you should show this play to them. The Cavs overall are just a great team to learn from when they are having an on day and are giving their all, which I know we didn't see a ton of this month, but that's okay. Now here the Cavs get the rebound and have a fast break opportunity, and I love how Mitchell can read the floor. Usually as a head coach, this is your worst nightmare, somebody pulling up for 3 in transition, but in this case, it was the best look the Cavs were going to get, and Mitchell realized that because Towns was in front of him, so he just stopped on a dime, gathered himself, and knocked down a big time 3. And then here, let's take a look at this play by Jarrett Allen. I may have to replay it a few times because it is just so satisfying to look at. The reason why it was so impressive was not only the force of it, but just the fact that Allen was out of position and was twisting his body midair. And again, the key to blocking is keeping the ball in bounds, and that is exactly what he did, which created yet another transition opportunity for the Cavs. Now here, last but not least, I want to show you this bag work from Donovan Mitchell, because if he can get this going in the playoffs, he will be unguardable and it will create unimaginable opportunities for his teammates. Just drive in, stop on a dime, spin back, and knock down a bucket right over a guy who just a few years ago was second in the Defensive Player of the Year race in Mikal Bridges. So overall, yes, the Knicks played this game without Jalen Brunson and Mitchell Robinson, but still, that does not negate the fact that the Cavs are 3-0 against New York this season, and it doesn't negate the fact that we are the better team. I was scrolling Twitter, and I saw there were Knicks fans saying that they could win a series with a healthy Brunson, and I guess all I can do is laugh at this point, and it doesn't even really matter because the Knicks are going to face Boston before us, so they would have to beat them first. And with the Celtics losing tonight against the Heat, and actually really it was more than a loss, they got smoked. The Cavs' magic number to lock up that number 1 seed is now just 2. And with 6 games left, that pretty much means it's a done deal. Tonight was a big night for that. And honestly now, I do still want the Cavs to stay fresh. I think everyone needs to play and stay in a rhythm. But at the same time, I'm willing to risk some of that rhythm in order to keep everyone healthy. Because Atkinson could just use the first round to regain that rhythm back. I would not at all be against playing Craig Porter a lot more, giving Tristan Thompson some minutes, putting Sam Merrill in a ton to see if we can get him to find his stroke, put Ty Jerome in so he can find that early season rhythm again whenever he heals up. Kenny Atkinson is in a great spot because really he controls what happens. Nobody else does. The Cavs are the top dog and they have earned the right to be in this position. Anyways, here's what Kenny Atkinson and the guys had to say following this big win.
They were I mean, you saw it. They were just kind of getting what they wanted. Our closeouts were not up to par. Our physicality off the ball was not up to par. And I thought that starting group, in the beginning of the third, OG had 19 points. We made it a point at halftime. We didn't throw any water bottles, but we made it a point. And our guys, we knew they were on a back-to-back, so, can we pick up our energy? Can we pick up our physicality, take OG out of the game? And guys executed.
I tell you, it really starts, with our defensive intensity focus. I didn't feel like we had it, at least for the first quarter. I think second quarter we had it in spurts, and then obviously second half we did what we were supposed to. And, not every game is going to be perfect. Not every game you're going to come out and start the right way, but it's just how do you continue to bounce back and respond. And as a collective, we were able to do that, and we did a pretty solid job on the boards, which I'm really happy about. That's been my focal point for the group, just being able to be physical, get on the boards and find different things, and then obviously being in the gaps and trying to be physical on the ball and different things. So we figured it out in the second half and, did our job.
That's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point. And if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also let me know what you'd like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.